Thanksgiving always looked normal from the outside. There was food, noise, people moving between rooms like nothing had ever been wrong. My mother liked things to feel full table, full house, full conversation. It created the impression that everything was working. I used to believe that meant it actually was. By that point, I had already been covering most of the bills for almost 2 years. Not formally. There was never a conversation where everyone sat down and agreed to it. It just happened slowly, a utility payment here. Groceries when things were tight. The internet bill because it was easier if I handled it. Then the electricity. Then repairs. It became a system without ever being named one. If I stopped, things would stall. So I didn't stop. No one said thank you in a way that landed. Sometimes there was a quick got it text, sometimes nothing at all. Over time, even I stopped expecting acknowledgement. It felt easier that way. On Thanksgiving, the comment came out casually. We were standing near the kitchen, plates half filled, people talking over each other. My mother laughed at something my uncle said, then looked at me and added, almost as an afterthought, "This is our thanks for your little support." It wasn't said harshly. That's what made it settle the way it did, little. I didn't respond right away. I remember holding my plate, feeling the weight of it more than I should have, like it had suddenly become something else. Someone else laughed. The moment passed for everyone but me. I set the plate down. "I stopped paying the bills," I said. There was a pause, but not the kind that meant anything had landed. More like a break in conversation. My sister smiled like I'd made a dry joke. My mother shook her head slightly, still half laughing. "Okay," she said. "Sure." I nodded once, picked up my jacket, and left. No one followed me out. For the first few days, nothing happened. Or at least, nothing visible. That was the strange part. How long things could appear stable even after something essential had been removed. The systems I'd been maintaining didn't collapse immediately. They held briefly on momentum. I didn't check in. I didn't send reminders. I didn't log into anything. I just stepped back. A week later, I started to see the edges of it. A missed call from my sister. A message that said, "Hey, quick question about the electric bill." I didn't answer right away. Not out of spite. I just didn't feel the urgency anymore. Then another message. "Did something change with the account?" I read it. Put the phone down. The second week, the tone shifted. "Why is the internet down? Did you forget to pay something?" There was still an assumption underneath it. That this was temporary, accidental. That I would fix it once it was brought to my attention. I didn't respond. By the third week, the messages weren't questions anymore. They were shorter. Sharper. "We need access. You can't just stop without telling anyone." I read those more slowly. That part stayed with me. Without telling anyone. I had told them. It just hadn't registered because it hadn't matched their expectation of me. The fourth week, something changed outside of us. A formal notice was sent to the house. Not dramatic, just official. A printed document with dates, amounts, and consequences laid out in clear terms. I only knew about it because my mother finally called instead of texting. I let it ring once before answering. Her voice was different. Not angry, not even upset exactly. Just less certain. "There's a notice here," she said. "About the utilities." I waited. "They're saying payments haven't been made." Another pause. "Can you explain what's going on?" I leaned back in my chair, looking at nothing in particular. "I stopped paying," I said. Silence stretched longer this time. "That doesn't make sense," she said finally. "You wouldn't just stop." I didn't correct her. "I told you," I said instead. There was a shift in her breathing, like she was trying to replay something and couldn't quite place it. "That wasn't serious," she said. "You said that and then you left." "I meant it." Another silence. Heavier now. "What are we supposed to do?" she asked. It wasn't accusatory. It was almost practical, and that was the moment something settled for me. Not in a satisfying way, not like a victory. Just a clear understanding. They weren't asking why. They were asking how to restore what had been lost. "You'll have to set up the accounts," I said. "In your name. That takes time." "Yes." There was a faint frustration in her voice now, but it wasn't directed at me exactly. More at the situation, at the inconvenience of it. "We didn't know you were going to do this." I let that sit for a second. "I did," I said. The call ended without resolution. After that, things moved through official channels instead of me. Accounts were reassigned. Payments restarted under different names. There were delays, reconnections, small interruptions that forced everyone to adjust. I didn't step in to smooth any of it, not because I wanted them to struggle, but because it wasn't mine to manage anymore. Communication changed. Not immediately, but gradually. Fewer messages, shorter ones, less assumption. When I did hear from them, it was more direct, more contained. There was no casual expectation that I would fix things in the background. Something had been removed, and it stayed removed. A few weeks later, I drove past the house. I didn't stop. I just slowed down for a moment, enough to see the lights on inside, the outline of movement through the window. Everything looked normal again, just without me in the system that kept it that way. I kept driving. There wasn't a sense of triumph in it. No clean resolution. Just a quiet recognition that what I had been providing wasn't seen until it was gone. And even then, it wasn't understood in the way I might have hoped. But it was understood enough to change the structure. And for the first time in a long while, I wasn't holding anything up that no one else acknowledged. That felt different, not better. Just different. And steady.